we're going to be discussing food and high blood pressure. I am sure that you may have heard about the DASH diet, came in many years ago, dietary approach to stopping hypertension. This is really a diet that was essentially plant-based with low intake of animal fat. And it was proven that this DASH diet helped to lower hypertension. Food is indeed medicine. And as we continue today, I'll be discussing foods, essential, the same foods that you may have heard about, but these foods now have different properties that will affect lowering blood pressure. You see, in the medical world, we treat blood pressure with medications that will cause them to lose volume. So they go to the restroom. These are called diuretics. We may use medication that will cause the patient to excrete sodium because sodium increases the blood pressure. We may also use a medication to block calcium channel. Now, we also use medication to widen the blood vessels. You're going to be learning today of food that have similar properties. Let's start with diuretic foods. Diuretic foods, these are foods, yes, that will increase urine production, therefore decrease blood volume, thus reducing blood pressure. These foods are also rich in potassium and fiber and antioxidants. Some of these foods are celery, parsley, garlic, dandelion, asparagus, watermelon, and all of these foods. These foods are diuretic foods. When you consume lots of these foods, you tend to urinate more and therefore you can lower your blood pressure. Then let's look at fruits. We all know that we should eat 4 to 5 servings of fruits per day for different chronic illnesses. But did you know that fruits also have an important effect on lowering your blood pressure? That's right. Fruits contain various chemicals that will either vasodilate the blood vessels and lower the blood vessels or will act as diuretics. And you're going to learn about these fruits as we go into specific fruits and vegetables. Let's start with green leafy vegetables. These are rich, very high in potassium. They also have diuretic effects. They also will vasodilate the nitrites in these green leafy vegetables, widen the blood vessels, and then lower your blood pressure. So if you're here because of hypertension, please ensure that you have lots of green leafy vegetables in your diet because they serve as diuretics and they serve as vasodilators. Now, this might be new to you. Purification broth is a detoxing broth made with celery and onions. This will detoxify the blood and help to lower your blood pressure, or at least prevent hypertension. What amount should you consume? Half a liter to a liter of this broth per day. Maybe drinking it as water, and you will tend to prevent high blood pressure. Legumes, we're back to legumes, the poor man's protein. You've heard a lot about legumes. That's peas and beans and peanut, lentils. They contain lots of potassium, magnesium, calcium. They prevent high blood pressure. They're also low in sodium. Sodium will increase your blood pressure. They're high in fiber. Fiber tend to protect the endothelial lining of these blood vessels and therefore prevent stiffening and hardening of the blood vessel walls and prevent atherosclerosis, prevent hypertension, prevent heart disease. Because if the blood vessels are stiff, then they will not be flexible to vasodilate and lower the blood pressure. So you tend to have hypertension. Celery. Lots of you might have heard about celery and hypertension. That consuming celery drink can decrease blood pressure. Is there any science behind this? Yes. Studies have shown that celery contains a compound, N-butyl phthalate, which has been shown to do many things. One, it vasodilate, makes your blood vessels flexible, widening of the blood vessel, therefore lower the blood pressure. Also act as a diuretic and therefore lowering the blood volume and therefore blood pressure. It helps to prevent hypertension. So yes, celery drink is good to lower the blood pressure. Squash. Squash, I know I don't have a good picture of squash here, but squash, this is rich in potassium and low in sodium. So anything that's lower in sodium will actually decrease your blood pressure. Garlic. You have heard about garlic supplement, but I believe in the natural garlic. You need to probably consume about 8 cloves of garlic a day. Wow, this might be hard. They should be either raw or slightly steamed. You can blend this out in a soup or broth and enjoy this. Garlic will vasodilate your blood vessels because garlic has nitrites. And nitrites tend to potentiate the production of nitric oxide, which is a powerful vasodilator and therefore has hypertension property. I don't know if you've heard about nitrites. You've been to the hospital, somebody with chest pain, and the doctor calls for a medication to lower the blood pressure and to improve the blood flow to the heart and thus decreasing the chest pain. Nitrite. So garlic has the same property. Therefore, consuming enough garlic per day can help to lower your blood pressure or to prevent hypertension. Guava. Guava is a fruit, is a tropical fruit, and we have that in our country, where I'm from, my country, in Jamaica. Very delicious. Here in South Texas, where I currently live, there are a lot of different types of guava. This can also help to reduce blood pressure. Remember, you reduce blood pressure by various mechanisms. One, low sodium. Two, high potassium. Three, vasodilation, and so many more. Pears, delicious. These have diuretic properties and they're rich in potassium. So if they have diuretic properties, they're rich in potassium, they're good then to lower the blood pressure. Grapefruits, these protect the arteries. They also have diuretic properties. So different types of grapefruits, because here in South Texas we have the white grapefruit and we have the delicious pink grapefruit. So there are different types of grapefruits. Fiber again, we're back to fiber. More fiber in the diet will lower hypertension. Animal products do not contain fiber, while plants do contain fiber, especially if these plant food are not processed. Fiber are great to protect inflammation around the endothelial lining of your blood vessels. If the blood vessels are healthy, then they're more flexible, they can dilate and thus reducing blood pressure. So food that are rich in fiber, not only that, fiber also help to lower cholesterol. If you have good cholesterol level, then you may not have cholesterol deposit against the endothelial lining, causing atherosclerosis, which could lead to hypertension. So fruits and whole grains and vegetables are rich in fiber. Magnesium. A randomized study, actually 11 randomized trials, showed that magnesium 365 to 450 milligrams daily over a period of 3.6 months significantly reduce blood pressure in people with chronic disease. Oral magnesium act like calcium channel blocker. We do use a set of blood pressure medication that we call calcium channel blockers. Verapamil is one of them. There are different types. So, calcium channel blockers lower blood pressure. Magnesium also increases the production of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide vasodilate, widen the blood vessels and lower blood pressure. Magnesium also help to improve endothelial function by in direct and direct way. If the endothelial function is preserved, then you will have flexibility of the blood vessels and the blood pressure will be lowered. Where do you find magnesium? Well, fruits and vegetables, figs, avocado, banana, raspberry, legumes, nuts, seeds, wheat germ, same foods that we're discussing. So rather than taking a supplement, we can actually go ahead and consume the foods and enjoy the effect. All right, so of course, deficiency in magnesium can lead to hypertension. All right, beets. I love to discuss beets. I don't know if you love beets, but when I grew up in Jamaica, when I was growing up, every Sunday we would have beets and carrot juice, not knowing that beets were just so important for my health. You see, beets are rich in dietary nitrates, which are converted into nitric oxide. And by now, you should know the benefit of nitric oxide on the blood vessel. Nitric oxide widens the blood vessel, it's a natural vasodilator, and therefore, beets have hypertensive properties because when the blood vessels are widened, this is going to cause the blood pressure to be lowered. So if you don't like beets, hey, start drinking some beets today. Oh, hibiscus flowers. This is amazing. You see, in medicine, we use a group of medication that we call angiotensin converting enzymes inhibitor, ACE. For example, lisinopril, benazepril, ramipril, captopril. We use this medication to lower blood pressure. Hibiscus flowers have the same effect. There's a chemical there that have the same effect as using these ACE inhibitors. Studies have shown that consuming 8 ounces of hibiscus tea, flower tea, twice a day for 2 weeks can significantly lower the systolic blood pressure by 10 to 20 points. So, start drinking hibiscus tea, add it to your dietary intake, and you will prevent hypertension or you can lower your blood pressure. Turmeric. Turmeric from curcumin. This is a substance that has been in use for many years in the Eastern diet. But curcumin has an effect on improving blood flow and decreasing blood pressure, especially in patients with kidney disease. So, if you're listening to me now because you have kidney disease, you can actually purchase turmeric at your local food store. You can purchase the root and you can use it in a smoothie, or you can purchase the powder. But I rather using the actual root. Just I use usually maybe 1 to 2 inches and just blend that out in the smoothie, and you'll get all the benefits. So you can lower your blood pressure. Turmeric also has antioxidant. Turmeric also is believed to have antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral properties. Pomegranate. Who love this juice? You can purchase this at the supermarket, and you can use this to lower your blood pressure. Has a high source of nitrates. Remember, nitrates convert then into nitric oxide, which has a positive effect on vasodilation, widening of your blood vessel and lowering of your blood pressure. Your daily intake then should be about 150 mLs, which is about 5 ounces of the pomegranate. And using this for over 2 weeks can lower your blood pressure. Guys, I'm sure you've learned a lot about the various food that are shown to lower blood pressure, whether they act as diuretic, whether they act as vasodilators, whether they act as calcium channel blockers, whether they act as ACE inhibitors, whether they act as lowering your sodium and increasing your potassium. These are all mechanisms that we use as physicians to lower blood pressure by giving you medication. You can actually get the same benefits by consuming the right food in the right amount over the right time.